Hey folks, it's Finn. Welcome to the Sunday question and answer shout out vlog, which is usually the first Sunday of the month, but this month it's the second Sunday because I've been away. It's a great topic this month, I think. I'm going to talk about jealousy of cisgendered guys, that's guys that have been born as natal males. I've had a few great questions on this, and one of them asks, this is an anonymous on Tumblr, would it be possible to do a video which gives advice or your thoughts on how to stop being jealous or resentful of cis guys? It impacts me to the point that I can't feel comfortable because I cannot stop focusing on how they have it better than me. This sounds incredibly spoiled, I know, but I find it hard to think of many things that could possibly be worse than being trans, and it's just hard and I need to get out of this mindset. In a similar way, Ness on Twitter says to me, I have a question about jealousy in cis men. Is it normal for a transgender man, pre-everything, to feel really angry to the point of total despair when they come across a cis male who doesn't deserve to be born cis male? Firstly, let me say I relate totally to what you're both saying, and although worded differently, you're both saying the same thing, that you see cisgendered guys wandering around happy in their bodies, taking it for granted, and this brings up a huge amount of anger, of course, because they don't realise how lucky they are. You know, we've had to go through years and years of self-searching and not knowing what was going on, and then when we realised we were going on, we had to fight for treatment and for our masculinity to be seen. It's really, really hard, and so to see people seemingly taking it for granted because, let's face it, they don't know any different, hurts. So yes, it is completely understandable, and I think totally normal and reasonable to feel this way. I think if you ask any trans guy, they'll probably say something along the same lines. I certainly felt it in very early days when I first came out, and I was like, wow, I'm a man. This is why I've been feeling so awful for so many years, and this explains so much. Amazing. But then alongside that came this huge feeling of resentment and anger and jealousy and envy. You know, I'd see young boys playing and think, that's just not fair. I wish I'd have had that boyhood. I'd see young males, like early 20s, playing in the park, playing football with their tops off, with these bodies without any scars. And I'd just think, it's not fair. It's really not fair. And I'd be jealous of them and angry at them and angry at the world as well for me being born trans. And why couldn't I be born another way? It is something that just takes time. I do think a lot of this uncomfortability and jealousy is wrapped up with dysphoria as well, and I think that's possibly why it also ends up getting better, because as the dysphoria decreases, as the body represents oneself, that feeling of jealousy disappears as your outside gradually reflects your inside, where you have testosterone and that changes you, and the surgeries that change you. That, for me, my experience has been that I've become much more comfortable with myself. It still comes up every now and again. As I say, recently, you know, just seeing this whole body that's almost done now, one surgery left, and it's scarred and flawed, but I've got to accept that's what it is. And I've also got to accept that I'm never going to have a boyhood, and I'm never going to have a 20-year-oldhood, because I'm 42. So the way I deal with it, it's like, okay, yes, I'm angry about it, but I cannot change the past. I cannot make myself transgender. I can't do anything about that. But what I can do is live fully now and into the future. And if I spend too much time feeling resentful and angry and wrapped up in all that, I'm then going to steal my own male future from myself, if that makes sense. And of course, this is easier said than done, but it is vital in order for us to live happy, wholesome, healthy lives. And I think a lot of the time when things like this come up, we either react in one of two ways. We're either like, no, I'm not going to think about it. I'm going to think positively. I'm just going to move on. Or you sink into complete depression, anxiety and angst around the whole thing. And of course, neither of those are healthy responses. Positive thinking, as I say many, many times, does not mean saying, oh, everything's wonderful. Positive thinking means saying, actually, this is really bad and really unfair, but I either can't do anything about it or I can do this about it. It's about saying, I'm allowing myself to feel hurt and angry. It's not actually this cisgendered guy's fault that I'm looking at right now. But you allow yourself to feel that and then you move on. Meditation is great because it's a really great way of giving yourself space to be able to allow these difficult emotions to be and let them go. When you have a difficult emotion like jealousy or envy, it's very uncomfortable to feel it. It's uncomfortable to see the thing that causes you jealousy, but it's actually really uncomfortable to sit with that feeling of jealousy and envy inside us. It's really, really unpleasant. So what tends to happen when we feel it is either we like push it away and move away from it, or we kind of like really kind of clench around it and just get so absorbed in it, like Anonymous talked about, when it just affects the whole mindset. And so in meditation, if you imagine it like you're sat under a motorway bridge and you can hear all the cars going above you, but you don't jump up and get in them. It's exactly the same thing. So in a quiet, reflective meditation, you sit and you can hear these thoughts about jealousy and you can feel these emotions about jealousy, but you just don't join in with them. You kind of take a back seat, you kind of watch them, you give them space rather than like reacting in kind of clenching up or pushing them away. You just breathe and give them space, treat them like cars on the motorway that are just passing you by, and you just don't engage with them. And eventually they do just kind of flow through you and go. And every now and again you'll think, okay, I'm doing quite well with this jealousy thing, I've not felt it for a while, and then bang, something will happen and it will trigger something. And it's just layers of the onion. As we go through this and we become more comfortable in ourselves, it's just a process of continually letting go of these things to a deeper level. I think the most important thing that's helped me as my transition's gone on, as well as accepting the body I have and learning to love the body I have, it's the realisation that the things I'm going through aren't just about being trans. It's a human condition to be jealous of other people. It's kind of human nature where we compare ourselves to others. Everyone does it. Trans people do not have the monopoly on this. You know, cisgendered guys are equally as jealous of each other. You know, they look at each other and go, I can't grow muscles like that, or I wish I was as tall as that, or I wish I didn't gain weight the way I did. It's common to all of us, you know, that this is just something, it's about being human. And I think this helps because once you realise it is a human issue and not just a trans issue, that helps to let go a bit of the resentment about being trans. Because if you make it all about being trans, if I wasn't trans, blah, 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 you know, this makes you just feel worse. And then, you know, it's like Anonymous says, you know, you can't think of anything worse than being trans. But as I say, this is something that all humans go to. Talk to anybody about this and they'll all go, oh, yeah, I get jealous of this. I wish I looked like that. I wish I had this. You know, it's just something we do. And realising that helps to change the mindset away from it's just a trans thing to a feeling of, oh, okay, so I'm not alone. So no, neither of you are vain or selfish or spoilt, because if you are, then I am as well. This is normal. I think it's normal of anybody whose body doesn't work in the way that most bodies work. You know, it's normal to just be like, it's not fair, I wish I could. If that person only knew how lucky they were, you know, and these feelings we then transfer to other people, and if we're not careful, we get caught up. And as I say, the way of working through it is through allowing yourself to feel it, to give yourself the space to feel it, and then making yourself move on from it. And that is in gradually accepting your body and loving your body. And then as you love your body, you just stop comparing yourself with others as much. The feeling of hate of one's body will continue and perpetuate that, I wish I had that. So developing self-love and self-acceptance is definitely the way forward in all of this. And that will take time as you progress through your transition and become comfortable in yourself. In line with this month's question, I'm going to give the shout out this month to Transgender. Now, Transgender run events and retreats around specifically these things, around body positivity and sexual intimacy and feeling confident in oneself. I've never been on one of their retreats, they're always fully booked, but I hear really, really great things about them. So I'm going to put a link up to them here, and do check them out. It's really important that we engage with whatever work we can in transition to develop this comfortability with one's body and start to appreciate what our bodies do have and can do, and put the focus there rather than what they can't. As I said, accepting, allowing, and moving on. So do have a look at Transgender, and maybe that'll be something that can help you in this mission. So that's it for this month. I will return next month with another question, of which I do not know what it'll be about yet. But please do send me your comments, suggestions, or anything you would like me to address. You can send those either in the comments below, or you can send them over to me on my FinnFan, which is a really good place to come and chat to me, or over on Twitter, or wherever you feel fit. Thanks so much for watching, everybody. Do remember to hit that subscribe button to be kept up to date with regular updates. Don't forget to check out any of my social media links below and join the FinnFam for additional videos and silly selfies, etc. And also you can find more info about surgeries, questions I've answered over on my Tumblr blog. Take care of yourselves. I'll see you next Thursday for the usual Thursday upload. Bye bye.